hello. Hello. Happy New Year in advance. I wanted to come live to wish everybody. I hope you had a lovely Christmas. I've come live to wish you guys, all of you, a very happy New Year. 2025 is looming, and I like to reflect on my year. And I thought I'd share with you my thoughts of 2025. A lot has obviously been going on with me because I've been teaching as well as working with clients. 2025 started off beautifully for me, and I set myself goals, and one of my phrases was 2024 is mine. Like 2024, I'm gonna do things different and it's going to be positive. 2024 has been very positive, but very positive in a different way for me. I wanted to let you know that I am going to try my best to read the comments and reply. But just in case I don't, I apologize in advance. But I'm going to try because I realize that when I come offline, I go to reply to the comments and I realize the comments have gone, right? So I'm going to try my best to reply to the comments as I see them, right? And so I wanted to tell you how it started in 2024 for me was I was like, it's mine. 2024 is mine. And it totally was mine in a different way. Right? And I'm sharing this with you because I feel like it's a really good experience to share with you so that, because ultimately we're all the same people. I'm not different from you. We're all learning together. We're growing together. And I feel like as I share my experience with you, you get to see that, like, you can see yourself in my experience, right? So we start off 2024 and we're like, yeah, I've got this. And it just started off great and really, really positive. And one of the things I was trying to understand about my experience is my hands and knotting, right? Because I was, 5 years into knotting, and I was beginning to realize that I was understanding my client's hair because I needed to give space to understand my client's hairs. And that was 5 years in. And the great thing about my clients is that they allowed me to be experimental on their head. As well as me experimenting on my hair, I was able to experiment on my client's hair. Right? Hi, Sadie, right? I did well, Sadie. See, I stopped and I replied. And what my clients did for me, I could cry, right? Thank you, Sadie. I could cry. I love my clients so much because they trust me, and it's totally about a relationship. And also, I don't see my clients often. Guys, like, I see my clients, some of my clients, I've seen them twice this year, 2024. Some of them I've seen 3, 4. So how it started with Knotted Locs was you can relock your hair 4 times a year. Summer, autumn, winter, spring. It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Okay, but that happened around COVID time when I realized, wait, nobody's hair's falling out. Everybody's hair's doing great, because you guys know that I started knotting. I think I started knotting about 18 months before COVID happened. So when COVID happened and everybody's hair survived, it proved that that's the way to go with the knots, right? And then everybody got comfortable, even though I was saying, guys, you can do it. Some people were like, Mel, I'm not comfortable with making a decision on when my hair is due to be relocked. And I was like, girl, you've got this. Like, my brother, you've got this. You can make an informed decision. I showed them, I talked them through the experience of how they would know. And 100% of clients have just been super confident with knowing when they want their hair relocked. Do you understand what a big deal that is? That is such a big deal. Because I was from that school of thought of I needed to get my hair done every 6 weeks. And then when Sisterlocks taught me, and I even moved away from the Sisterlocks indoctrination, it was still about the 6 weeks, right? And then it was getting to 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So the effects, even though I'd moved away from Sisterlocks, I was still interlocking. Then, guys, you remember 2018, I separated my business partner. My business partner had the indoctrination of Sisterlocks, so believed in the 4 weeks, 5 weeks. When people were saying they feel like something's off with their hair, like maybe it's thinning, and it was mostly happening in the front where my business partner was working on. She was like, let's do it 4 times a week instead of, or five times. No, every 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Some people move from 6 weeks to 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Now, clearly, what that showed is the indoctrination is if you are worried about your hair thinning, then sit in the chair a bit earlier and catch it. That's the thought process, right? And learning through COVID, once I got this intuitive, this is what we should be doing, knotting, and it was successful. COVID proved, bam, we're right. We should actually be allowing ourselves to actually learn and not rush the process. So that's where I was 2024. It was like 3 years after COVID and everyone's hair was flourishing. Everyone was choosing to do their hair when they wanted to do their hair. But my issue was I was teaching and I was knotting, but I wasn't taking care of my body as much as I should have, especially my hands, because I don't see my clients often. When they were sitting in the chair, we were having 6-hour sessions, 7-hour sessions, and I was focusing on the knotting and forgetting my hands. And so I began to worry that, like, what am I doing? And I realized, obviously the initial worry is this sustainable because I'm using my hands? Of course I can teach, that's fine, but I like my clients, like I like the relationship I have with my clients. I like them sitting in the chair because I learn so much from them, right? And so I didn't want to stop the face-to-face client experience. But what I realized I was doing is the tension. Like you can imagine the tension knotting hair, because knots is used as a negative language to describe our hair when our hair knots. Our hair curls and knots, and locks is knots. But just because of the brainwashing, what would I say? Sisterlocks believes that knots is something's wrong with knots, and so I carried that on, right, when I was knotting, and understanding that I still carry that tension. So even though I was successfully knotting clients' hairs, I was carrying that indoctrination. Something's wrong with knots, and so I didn't know that it was in the tip of my fingers. So I was particular. How do I put it? You know, like when you're nervous about how you show up in the world. And so even though you're showing up in the world as you are and you're celebrating yourself, there's still a little bit of nervousness. And so you're still a bit tense, even though you seem relaxed. That's what I feel my hands were showing me, is that I wasn't relaxed knotting. And what was great about towards the middle of the year, I worked it out. I worked out that I was putting tension in my fingers, and I was able to stop doing that. And now I can knot 7 hours and I don't feel the pain, or 6 hours, I don't feel the pain. So that was really good, because ultimately what I realized in 2024, it was all the experiences were internal. All the experiences has been internal. I have come up with this great solution for us to wear our small size locks. But how am I looking after myself with the attention I'm getting? How am I looking after myself? And so that was really positive. Now I started teaching. I'm learning, and I'm still continuing to learn. I'm still continuing to learn. And I've got this great community of people who follow me. And that's why I felt like I need to come live and say Happy New Year in advance. And I hope you guys are well and doing great, because I appreciate you, right? I appreciate the love. And I especially experienced that love when in the middle of 2024, towards the beginning half of 2024, I was catfished. And you guys know that happened to me, that I was catfished, and I shared my experience. And that experience, what that experience taught me, okay, is that experience taught me that there was still residual not understanding that I had all the information I need to actually do what I'm doing, right? Because I was still looking for outside of myself. So I had a business partner. You guys know what happened with the business partner. And then I feel like I still felt, and I still feel this way, by the way, I'm still working it out, but I felt like it was good to have a sisterhood, a connection beyond myself. And I feel like I was groomed. I feel like I was groomed, and I feel like it was the association. Because the thing about me and the way I work is I'm a relationship person. If you've had a session with me, you'll understand it's all about relationships. So I try to understand where my client's at. When I'm on my client's head, for example, we don't watch a show, we don't watch a film, we talk. If it's 7 hours, if it's whatever, we talk. And as I speak with my clients, even though sometimes they say they're fine, I work out through the conversations. I've learned that through the conversations, I find out so much that's going on. That might be, I might see something on their head and they might be like, I don't know what's happened, why that is. And then eventually, after talking to them, I realized, it's because you were worried this happened and you change your habits and you're doing this with your hair. And that's why this area is like that. There's a lot, because I'm dealing with nature. So there's a lot I try and find out about my clients because I don't see them that often. And so when I'm even online, I transmit that into my online sessions. So as my online sessions are a lot of chat, talking, understanding. What is your concern? What is your worry about your hair? What is your vision for your hair? So that when I teach you matching you and your experience and your vision for your hair. Because ultimately, this is what it's about. This moment is about us recognizing that we want to form these really beautiful, really positive relationship with our hair with no ounce of negativity, so that we're just satisfied with where we're at. We're happy with where we're at. For us to do that, I need to have a proper conversation with you and understand what you want for yourself. And I feel like I achieve that beautifully. One-on-one, understanding your texture, noticing your little habits, then giving you little tips. That's beautiful. And so I am locked into my world and I don't know how I'm perceived. I mean, I really don't know how I'm perceived. I work with clients on a one-on-one. My work is super private. So when this individual came along, for me, she's just an additional new person I'm teaching. Now, the grooming bit, I feel like I was like, normally I would teach and we would tap into each other from time to time, but this was a daily interaction, right? And then a friendship occurred, which I didn't realize that it wasn't genuine. But you have to understand that a lot, I feel, the only thing I learned from that experience is that it's the association, because no information was given other than that person's hair, right? But I began to understand that just associating with me, people make an assumption that they just need to associate with me and then they can get the information that comes through me. But it comes through me individual to individual. So even when anything I do comes from an individual relationship. So I began to understand that person pretended, because there's no information. Honestly, there is no additional information that person got from me. But I felt like when that happened, when I was catfished and groomed, I felt like it reminded me of what I am and what I have. And I really had to go through that. What does this mean? And that's where I feel like swimming has just been great and has gifted me a lot. So when I was going through the pain of what I understood happened, I felt like my body just felt like we need to just go through this emotional situation that we're going through. So I was swimming a lot, and I still swim a lot. And it just reminded me, because when you're in the deep end, guys, swimming, if you can do it, you should do it. Because I swim like 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 times a week, right? And my hair absolutely loves it. So I'd learned so many lessons through swimming, because when I swim, I wash my hair. And I wash my hair every time I'm in the pool. And I discovered that there's some clients of mine who go in the pool, they do aerobics, or they swim and they don't put their head in. Like Melissa puts her head in. And that's been really therapeutic for me when I put my head in and bring it up. When I put my head in and bring it up, it allows me to scream, it allows me to cry, it allows me to breathe underwater, all of that's therapy. What I realized with some of my clients who were going in the pool, they weren't washing their hair. They were rinsing, right? And so they didn't realize the chlorine was affecting them. And I didn't know they were doing that. But when I'm on their head, I can see flaking, and they never used to have flaking. And then I have conversations about it with them. And then eventually they remember, because I don't know what they're doing. They remember that, oh, it was because I was in the pool and I actually haven't been washing my hair. I've been rinsing it thinking it's all right. The chlorine is really strong, and the hair needs to be washed. Like I wash my hair all throughout. I wash my scalp, I wash along my hair, right? That's what the pool has given me. That's what swimming has given me. So when I was going through this, what is this experience? What is this pain? And I needed to feel pain to understand what I need to understand. And a lot of the times when I'm going through this transformational experience where I feel like I'm not even stagnant, but I feel like I need to transition into something, I go into the water, and because I'm floating in the deep end, I'm swimming in the deep end, I just get all these messages. I think it's linked with water. And the message came through, it just poured love. Love of self, love of the situation, because sometimes you don't ask for a situation, but you need the situation to happen for you to shift. And that's how I felt about this situation that I had, that I was going through. And then it just passed. That moment just passed. I forgave it. I let it go. And I feel like as I let it go, I just felt like I was going through rerouting, a continuation of my story, right? A continuation of my story. And so much has happened with me learning, and so much has happened with my relationship with my clients. Like my clients have just been awesome, and I've still been teaching. I've been carrying on building my knowledge. Now, my knowledge is very much, obviously it's private and it's one-on-one. So, I mean, my phone, like I have so much data that I'm going to share. Fundamentally, I feel like, what did I learn? I learned about self-sabotaging. Like you can really self-sabotage yourself by saying things like, oh, well, it's going to break my hair. Oh, well, I don't like her hair and how her hair looks. Or you can really move into that. But what you have to understand is I'm here because I'm meant to be here. I'm here and doing the work because I'm a Black woman who I want to have my hair attached to my head. I want to have the fullness. I want to have the flexibility. I don't want to be punished for what I feel like I deserve. I'm hearing a lot about injections on scalp, and I'm seeing all the gaps and people's hair's getting worse. And then they say something negative about knots. And I'm like, do you not understand? And it's fine if you don't get it. It's fine if you don't get it. But because there's a version of Melissa that exists, I know that there are, and I'm experiencing it all the time, that there are people who need this, who need to just not overthink about their hair, who want to be accepting of their hair, who want small size locks, small or medium size locks, and they just don't want to overthink it. All right? How your brain functions and how it works with how you take care of your hair is so personal and so intimate to yourself. It's like you have to eventually work it out. And how to work it out is time. You can't rush it. So one of the things I've noticed on social media is that everything is punchy, fast, quick, right? But actually the process of learning about your hair is really slow and steady, and also filled with little mistakes. And then you like go back, observe, learn from the lesson, and then move on. And then learn, right? Thank you. Compliment about my skin. Thank you. Thank you. You know, sometimes people, when I'm doing like a consultation teaching, people go, Melissa, apart from your hair, like, I want to ask you a different question. And then they ask me about my skin. They're like, what do you put on your skin? What do you do? You know, I feel like my skin is reflective of how I live my life. And one of the things I realize is a lot of people end up, I attract these people though. They end up coming close to me, but they're not there with good intentions. I don't know, but when I find out, I get rid. So I always say to people, one of the number one reasons why my skin is like this is because I allow myself to cry. I allow myself to be vulnerable. I am human. And if I know that an energy isn't right for me, I'm just like, okay, you stay there, bye. And I cut off. And that's one of my secret to why my skin is like this. Because a lot of the time when you're doing unhealthy things and you're forcing relationships, you're eating the wrong thing and you're starving yourself of hydration, you're punishing yourself. I don't do that. I go, woo, I didn't realize that. And then I just go, okay, bye, right? I feel like the swimming as well has done great for me in terms of my skin even, because I'm cleansing, I'm cleaning all the time, I'm washing, I'm scrubbing all the time. So anyway, back to the swimming pool and the water. I feel like it has taught me a lot about Melissa, and that calling and that pull was necessary for Knotted Locs. Apart from the fact my emotional state, and that's the place I let go, and I express I can scream under the water, I can cry under the water, I can just let it out loud. Nobody can hear me. And so I learned about habits, right? And I learned about all the little habits I've formed for many years, and how those habits have worked for me during one of my most challenging times. Actually, it's one of my most challenging times this year, but I needed to be challenged to understand what I need to do. That was really necessary. I feel like there's so many gifts I got from that experience about me and how I want to show up in the world, right? One of the habits I have, one of the things I like about myself is I like people. I like people. I have been raised within a family that generally teaches you don't like people, be wary of people, right? But I like people because I like myself, right? And so when you like people, what happens is people come near you and then they take, some people, not everyone, but as they take, there are other people who come and give a lot. But then when you're hurt by that one person, then you go, oh, that's what people are like. But actually, in the whole year, you've had one or two experiences that have challenged you. And I call that rerouting. But the others have been nice, you know. For example, let me explain this. Like, I came online and I told you guys what happened, right? My God, people, the love that I was shown was incredible from all social media platforms. People found a way of reaching out to me to hold me. I didn't know that many people really, I didn't get it, that many people were that connected with me. People say to me, Melissa, I like watching you. I don't even have locks. And I'm really sad that happened to you. I felt like even that experience that I had, it was worth just the love and support that people showed me. And my clients were just amazing and brilliant. And so am I online as well. And I feel like one of the things that made me sad in 2024 is a lot of people, even though they messaged me with positivity, they said to me, that's why I don't like people. That's why I keep myself to myself. As a community, if we live like that, like, what chance have we got? Like, if I just closed myself off and said, right, I'm just locking myself in, then what chance have we got? We need stronger together. I really, 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 really believe in that we're stronger together. So that made me really sad. Because it was like, well, it's because you opened up. But actually, we are supposed to be connected. Like, do you understand, guys, what's happening to us as a race? Like I see things and I just think as a community, I am trying to give you guys an example of how to live with your African texture hair in a natural state. And I know I'm right. Ooh, I know I'm right because I have my hat on. I've been doing a lot of crochet. That's one of my good habits that I've been doing a lot of knitting and crocheting. Right. I know because firstly it's me. I know that this works. This works. The way I'm looking after my hair works. And even my children, they all have knotted locks on their head and their hair's flourishing. And it's interesting to observe the young generation, the next generation, because they don't have the indoctrination of how we've been dealing with my hair. Well, my children, it's interesting how they are very comfortable with their growth, right? Think about what growth is. Think about how symbolic growth is. So what growth is that you learn something and you apply it to your life for the better, right? And there's nothing wrong with growth, but we decided that there's something wrong with growth. But growth can come in different ways. Growth can come in a pain, in a challenge. And so I had a challenging moment, and my reaction to that is what dictates how I move on from that. And I allowed myself to feel the pain because that was a necessary part of my experience. I allow myself to be vulnerable because I'm a creative. I feel like I'm an artist when I'm someone's hair. I like feeling the pain. So as much as it's uncomfortable, I don't want to repeat the experience. I feel like that added to my growth, right? And I feel like I did all the right things to try and remove it. And then I removed it. And then I got the best out of the experience. What is wrong with regrowth? What is wrong with having regrowth on your head? Why do you want to put away your regrowth when growth is everything? Guys, watch Melissa and see me years ago when I started doing my channel, about 13 years ago. And you can, if you watch, you can see, like, we start off naive. We don't know anything. I don't know anything. We start off naive. We don't know anything, but you grow. You have an experience and you grow. You have an experience, you grow. You don't have the growth experience, then you try and get rid of it. Knotted locks is symbolic of that. My regrowth is part of me. It's the natural texture of my hair. And also, it got me to remember, I wanted to have a relationship with my natural hair. When I decided to go natural, and I was natural for 12 years, I was trying to form a relationship with my hair. Obviously, because I didn't understand how to look after my hair, I was doing too much to it. And then I locked my hair, and I was still doing too much to it. And finally, I love the growth. I understand what it's about. And that's what I'm trying to teach you. I'm not teaching you how to get rid of growth. I'm teaching you how to live with your African texture hair in small size locks and be happy with wherever you're at. How much growth you want to allow is up to you. Knotted locks is a methodology to take care of your hair in the way you choose to. And that is so dynamic, so different from individual to individual. And how that translates to you is nobody's business. It's your business, your relationship with your hair, because you know your lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to teach you, show you, is I live like this simply because of the busyness of my life. But I also like it. I like the fact that I like my growth. I like my regrowth. I like the texture of my hair. And also, even if I don't like the texture of my hair, what can I do about it? It's about acceptance and celebrating and being happy with the hair you have. And so I feel like 2024 gave me that. Like, with you, Melissa, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to go through the experience you go through, are you happy with yourself? I am. I'm absolutely happy with myself. And I couldn't ignore the fact that somebody observed me online. And I feel like I'm just this tiny, insignificant dot. I'm just this tiny, insignificant dot that is here representing myself. I represent myself because I can't do anything else other than be myself. And I understand that because I speak to so many different people, I began to realize that people can have the same experience and it translates for somebody as a problem and for somebody as a celebration of who they are. And I began to understand how as a female Black woman, how we can misread experiences. So you can misread an experience, go, well, that's why I don't like talking to people. That's why I'm going to isolate. But that wasn't what this experience was about. This experience for me was about the fact that I have an aura, an energy, a power that I need to actually nurture more and cultivate more, because in that power and in that, and it's a love, it's infectious. And when someone's angry, they can transfer that anger to someone else. When someone's crying or sad, they can transfer that. And when someone's happy, you can transfer that. And what you transfer to others makes such a difference, because ultimately, honestly, if you're accepting of who you are and you're content and you're not looking for the criticism, you're not trying to self-sabotage, you live such a fulfilling life that judgment goes away. Forgiveness comes really quickly. If you make a mistake, as I teach in Knotted Locs, if you make a mistake, you're able to move on really quickly from the mistake. Yes, I made a mistake, but I show my DIYers how to manage that so you're not settled on it. So it takes a while, but it's practice, practice, practice. And that's why my advanced session is there, because I feel like sometimes we need a reminder. I feel like we all know what we need to do. It's just that it's hard to do it on your own. And so when you watch an energy, whose energy you want to tap into, you want to be inspired by, that is infectious, and that helps you carry you further into the direction you want to go. Because Knotted Locs is about freeing up your time, removing that headspace where you're overthinking, thinking. It's about you going, right, this is where I'm at. I'm absolutely fine and happy with it. And I can now go and follow my purpose and my dreams. If you don't want to begin to worry about your hair and how your hair looks and all of that, and you're able to manage your hair in a really great, gorgeous, healthy way where it's full of joy, then you can now look and go, right, what do I want to do? Because this has been taking so much of my time. This hair situation in particular frees me up. Okay, what do I want to do? Part of that experience is actually how you're re-locking your hair, and not obsessing about relocking it. It has to be put away. Be all right with your growth, because your texture teaches you so much. Look at my hair, for example. Because I have so much regrowth, I was able to flat twist this area. I look, growth, this area, just pull it up. And that's from living with my growth. I'm able to style. I just like the softness of my regrowth against the firmness of my lock. I'm able to be a lot more creative than I even ever imagined with my hair. So there's so much lessons to learn about your hair. And hopefully, as you watch somebody like me who wears my hair in the way I wear my hair, you then begin to know, oh, it's okay for me to do it this way. There's not one way that is right or wrong. I think what is wrong is if that you have chosen a hairstyle and then you're now you're not happy with it, and you're depressed about it, and you're feeling bad about it. I think that's not good for you. I feel like I chose this path, and so I'm ready to embrace all the experiences that come with that path, because I'm satisfied with it. And I know why I'm doing it, because I need to free up my time, because not only do I work with clients online and offline, I also have a family. I also have a life. I also have my relationship with myself that I want to nurture and look after and build and grow and get to know myself more better. Worrying about my hair is trivial, right? So the idea is, if you feel you enjoy who you are and you feel comfortable with who you are, that's happiness, that's satisfaction. It means that you don't judge, you let go, you allow, and then you can then clear out, because if you judge, you're judging yourself. If you're angry with yourself. If you're vengeful and you want to get someone, or you're performing for somebody else, you're doing it to yourself. You're carrying all of that. And what I believe is that, and how I've lived is, and I've had a lot of challenges, so I know what I'm talking about. When you let go of that, it's just beautiful what happens next. It's just, there are no words for that beauty of letting go. Something's happening, let it go. I'm not angry. I even don't take it personal anymore. It's not personal. It's just part of the rerouting of where I'm at, right? And then I learn from it. I'm like, what does this mean? And I learn from it. I want us to remain connected, and I want us to be a community, and I want it to be global. And when I hear others say, oh, that's why I don't like people and I keep myself to myself, it's heartbreaking, because how else are we going to be able to build a community where for the next generation we help inspire them? All of us have different skill sets, gifts, purposes in life, and we're all the same and connected, and we all have the same worries, right? And so if we're in isolation and we're just working on our own, but what about somebody else? Somebody else could add to that. Somebody else can help you, and and so I want to be the one to stand here and say, shit has happened. Like, things have happened, right? But I don't want to be closed off. I don't want to be isolated, because I like people. And I can't argue the fact that when this happened to me, when I was catfished around July, August, I was catfished way before that, but I began to realize in maybe July, August, the love that was shown was so great that I was like, that's what it's about. It's like, I see you, Melissa. That's what I say to you guys. I see you. I am you. And hopefully, I feel like if you don't begin to qualify yourself and you're hard on yourself and you're just looking for a problem, then you're just doing it to yourself. And if you're doing it to yourself, you're stopping yourself from fulfilling the goal you're supposed to be fulfilling, right? Because you're there and you're stuck. So I feel like 2024 has given me the gift of slowing down, because I turned 52 in 2024, slowing down, more even, not rushing the process. So I know that even everything I'm experiencing, and I believe in this 3-month turnaround, because I realized that even 3 months after the experience, I started feeling better. So I allow the 3 months. But I feel like if you put in the work now, you will see it months to come. If you put in the work now with your hair, you begin to understand your hair, and you separate your hair with patience, respect, allowing your hair to be what it's going to be on your head, because you know historically what you did to your hair, then your hair will keep gifting you. I tell you this, in my 20s, in my 30s, in my 40s, my hair wasn't this full. It's become fuller in my 50s, and that's because I've learned to just let go, not rush, and allow whatever I need to learn to be learned. Allow my mistakes to be my mistakes, because I know my mistakes are lessons. And just not rushing that process of self-development. And so that's what 2024 is about. Peace of mind. I wish you peace of mind. Peace of mind in that where you're at, you're happy and accepting of it. Forming these good habits. They're great, because I formed such great good habits. I'm crocheting and knitting. Look, I'm crocheting and knitting. So I'm knitting. This is going to be like a headpiece. I'm knitting and I'm crocheting, and that's been great. You can have the combination of this. I keep myself to myself because I'm very quiet in how I live, but also I'm open to relationships, and I have to, because I learn from one person to the other, and I transfer the knowledge. I do it in various different ways, but I transfer the knowledge. But I can't live in the way that quite a few people message me and say, that's why I don't interact with people, or I keep myself to myself, simply because my work is interacting with people. And what I learned from one, I'm able to transfer to the other, and the other, and the other, and it's worked beautifully. And maybe the message there is, don't let one negative experience be that defining factor of how you navigate your way through the world. Because when you have that one experience, there's like triple, many more positive ones that come off that. There were so many positive messages that were sent to me. And what you're supposed to do is think of those positive messages rather than one experience, right? And so I hope in the way I exist, that you're inspired, you're encouraged to know that you can exist in the way. You can fall, you can make a mistake, you can, try something, it didn't work, and, we don't have to be angry about it. We don't have to be that, obsessed about it. We can just move on. Be careful of the distractions where you can self-sabotage, where experience can happen, and then you can decide that is like the defining moment. Understand this, that Knotted Locs is a metaphor for how we're going to move forward, be navigating ourselves in the world, because so much is happening. You don't want to be that over-obsessed about your hair. You don't want to be, because let's be honest, it's not a vital organ, is it? It's not a vital organ. And, you can, if your hair was cut off completely, you'd still be absolutely fine. So what it is understanding how to exist with your hair as it is. And for those who are experiencing hair loss, you could just stop from where you are. So the self-sabotaging is that, like, you continually sit in the chair and you get to be told it's your fault, or you get to be told, well, I'm not noticing anything, but you're noticing a change in your hair, but you're doing the same thing. And if you're doing the same thing, going to the same person, experiencing this whole negative experience, then why is it going to change? It's only going to get worse. So allowing yourself to stop and go, right, why is this happening? What do I do about it? I want you to understand that there are other options. Knotted Locs is just another option for you. And you can see from my shares that I show you, with my clients, I still interlock them. So people get this thing in their head where it's knots, and then they develop a negative story around knots. But it's just there so you can separate your hair quicker. You don't have to worry about it unraveling, because we should be interacting with water a lot more. Hydration is necessary because that's what strengthens the strands and allows it to bind together. So those holes are gotten rid of, right? And your hair is locked very quickly, and then you can interact with water and you don't have to worry about unraveling. And therefore you can experience 100% great hygiene, because now you can wash your hair like I do as often as I want to, because I wash my almost every day, because I swim almost every day, and not worry about unraveling. So that's where I always keep reminding you guys, it's not a hairstyle. My hairstyle is the Small Size Locs. But the methodology, the system of knotting, of locking that I use is personal to Melissa, right? It's personal to me. And then I show you what I do. And I talk you, because it can be scary. And also there's a lot, if you look for it, you'll find the trouble. So there's a lot of kind of negative ideas around knotting. But ultimately it's about your relationship with yourself and how comfortable you are with your hands creating. And also I felt like, what about the people who have mobility issues? They want fabulous hair. So at least this way, I can teach you how to wear your hair in small size locks and you don't have to leave your house. I feel like I tapped into that because I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily want the salon service. Now, if you want the salon service, that's great. There are salon services out there. But the knots, when I teach you DIYers, is so in the safety, in the comfort of your home, you can learn about your hair and form the relationships, because that's a group that needs support, because you have no clue what you're doing. And 2025, I'm going to meet a couple of my learners who live in the US. Well, that's going to be like, for me, because it means I can see what I taught and then I can talk through what I'm experiencing. Like this, it's just like there are no words. I'm going to try and record that. But I just want you to understand that it is about you. So if you don't like knotted locks, that's absolutely fine. Not everybody wants the idea of that relationship with their hair, but I love it. I've never felt so much power in just touching my hair and creating these clever knots and allowing my regrowth to be my regrowth. Look, I can just separate. Do you know what my daughter told me? And clients have been telling me, this is my growth. And she said to me, Mum, it's such a satisfying feeling. Right, I'm trying to get my daughter to come online and talk about her Knotted Locs experience, but she's refusing to, and it makes sense because I taught my children no to social media. And so now when I go, you want to come on social media and talk about your experience with your hair? She's like, no. And that's because you taught me, like, no social media. But eventually I'll get her, because I'm a mother, I'll get her to come and explain her experience and what it's like to have knotted locks. But what she was explaining, other clients have explained to me, is that satisfying feeling of separating your locks is of your regrowth is lovely, right? Look at that. Look at what Knotted Locs gives me. This thickness, right? And if I was in interlocking, that's why I say to you guys, I have low density hair. I have fine, low density hair. It's just that the knots give me this thickness. So this is what I love. And I love the fact that I live like this. And I have to because I teach. So that was my first excuse. I have to because I teach. But I actually realized I really, really like it because I can flat twist this. I can do clever stuff with it and still like have different styles. But it's a demonstration of the fact that, look, if I interlocked my growth, this is how thin it would be. But the knots give me that. Let me try another side. What does my knots give me here? Let me try another. So this is my growth. Can you see that? This is my growth and this is what the knots give me. Now, again, I will repeat. This hair, I'm learning all the time. It's experimental. 2024 was all about that. I'm still experimenting with my hair. Because I realize with my hair, because I have fine hair, I'm trying to get my hair thicker because I like thicker locks. I like small size locks, but thicker. So I do tricky things with that. And that's why when I do my advance and I know you're confident with the baseline of what I've taught you, then I talk you through that. But fundamentally, I will keep showing you guys the reality of knotted locks, right? So when a client sits in the chair, I have got so much editing work to do, that like I have storage issues because I'm always recording, but it's a bit of a challenge for me, recording, doing clients' hair, teaching. But hopefully you guys, you can see what I'm trying to show you because I'm showing you the data, because this is data. This is historic and data, what I'm teaching you, that you can wear your small size locks and have a lot of regrowth and be all right with it. You can knot away your regrowth. I'm just a version that people have taught and they knot away their regrowth. But it's the journey that's beautiful. It's how you live with it, how easy it is, how you don't obsess and you have to keep on looking at the mirrors and you have to control things. It's how you learn to let go, and then it flows into the way you live your life. It's just so loving and such a beautiful experience. And because it's birthed from an internal urge, intuition, because I just didn't want the wrong energy on my head. It comes from a place of deep love and connectivity. It's a metaphorical kind of experience on how we should live. On top of that, we have this amazing, curly, gorgeous texture hair that differs from person to person to person to person. We're so different. And then celebrating that with the way we knot our hair and live with our growth in all different ways. That's the true gift. And I say to people when I'm teaching, I apologize in advance because that language of love is so different from each person. The language of what I'm teaching you, of how to knot. And Sometimes my hands are much more clever. A lot of the time, my hands are much more clever than the words I use because I'm limited with the words I use. But honestly, all this is about a version of how you could love yourself even deeper, celebrate how you show up in the world deeper. It can be scary when you're going on this journey. You can go like, I give up. Like, I can't deal with my regrowth. And that's absolutely okay. But understand that it's nothing to do with anybody else other than you. Because my connection with my online clients is like I'm connected with my face-to-face clients. My face-to-face clients, we chat. My online clients, we have conversations, we communicate, right? It's real connection, right? So understand that if you've fallen short and I've taught you and you've decided like, oh, Knotted Locs is not for me or whatever, that's your choice because Melissa's available. Because my biggest issue with Sisterlocks was the fact that it was like, they were like VIPs. You can't touch them, you can't communicate with them. That's not what this is. I am real. I am here ready to connect with you, right? Because I'm ultimately trying to tell you, girl, brother, there's nothing like this experience to know that you don't have to be afraid. That you can wash your hair. You don't have to wait until retight day to wash your hair. You don't have to be in pain. And it's all right as we're getting older and we've seen thinning, you know, because like naturally your hair is, maybe it's not even thinning, it's just that the texture is a bit more, it's getting much more straighter, much more lighter, much more thinner. The knots help bring up the, you know what I mean? Like it helps bring it up. That's why I am here. I'm here to show you it's a version. How can you not like wanting to be more of you and accepting of you? How could you not like that? Like that would make no sense whatsoever. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to control this. I'm not trying to say, oh, this is how you need to do it and this isn't. I'm saying let go. If your curl decides they want to behave in a certain way, allow it. Just like my children, I watch them and I'm like, I cannot keep fighting. You cannot, how many years are you going to keep fighting? So I just let my children be who they want to be. Because I tried to and I realized it. We all have gone through that where we try to control. It's exhausting. It's tiring. It's exhausting. You know? And so let's go. Let go and let this be what it is meant to be. And I'm just grateful that I have life and I have energy and I'm here so that if you need that support, then I'm here to tell you, you know, you guys, all of you, I always say to you guys, you already got it. We've got it. Each of us has got it. And it's just dormant. And all I'm doing is awakening it. But when I awaken it, I want you to always tap into it. And I don't want there to be a problem or an issue. And that's why I'm always here to remind you. That is why you can find my website, my Pinterest, my Instagram. I'm now on X. I'm on X. I'm on the Reels, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Like I'm on as many platforms as I can be on, so that I'm reachable and you kind of understand that you're not on your own. I'm doing the work and I'm being patient with myself and I'm sharing. So with that said, I am going to try to share the behind the scenes of what it's like to be Melissa Blake, creator of Knotted Locs. In 2025, I will come back and I will share with you other things that I'm doing, because I'm going to make sure that the shift, that the higher power, the divine one, my ancestors, the shift I need to be moving into happens, because ultimately it's about saying to each of us, each of you, regardless of where you're in your life, young or old, middle-aged, I see you. You're perfectly imperfect. You're perfectly imperfect. Where you're at is absolutely perfect. Fall. I'm here to pick you up. Fall. And we're here to pick you up. And that's why I don't want us to live in isolation, right? And so that's what I've learned from 2024. Love, 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 love. I love you. I love me. I love the experience I'm having. All of it is love. And just be careful of distracting yourself with self-sabotaging, getting angry when it's not necessary. You get gifts of lessons about yourself And then you go, but he did that or she did that. But actually, that's not what you're getting distracted. They are just a vessel. They are just a vehicle into carrying you part of your journey for you to wake up and understand a gorgeous, loving shift needs to happen. And you are not alone. I am here and I'm with you. So with that said, then listen to what I say about the knotted locks, that it's metaphorical in terms of how you interact with your body, right? And so when you complain about the concept of knotted locks, you are struggling with you and yourself and self-acceptance. But what I'm saying to you is when you accept where you're at and who you are and where you are in your life, it's the most amazing gift, because from growth came this hairstyle, right? From growth comes me interacting with my hair and realizing I actually can flat twist, I actually can maybe braid, I actually can do other things which I missed with my natural hair, which I used to do with my natural, but I missed when I then began to lock my hair because I needed it all to be not locked away. And when I started knotted locks, that's what I was doing. I was knotting it close to the scalp. But there is no need to do that, because then you get bonus of a different hairstyle. And also somebody said to me recently, because so you know I'm not small size, but also not traditional size. I mean, I share it with you guys. Larger size also locked. And she said to me, it's amazing how my hair used to be this length, because she had cut it because she was struggling to wear it because it was weighty. But she said, and her hair's grown back, and I've like seen her maybe 2 or 3 times in the year, and she's been with me in forever, like 10 years plus. And she said something that was really brilliant yesterday when I was working with her. She said, my hair's this long, but it's really strange. I don't feel the weight of it, she says. I don't feel the weight of it. And what it was is previously she was being interlocked, and she was being interlocked with my business partner. And as you could see, my hair, when I shed, my business partner was locking my hair and it was flatter. And so be aware that there are people who could interlock your hair and you don't feel pain, but your hair's feeling flatter. They're still causing the damage. They're just clever in the way that they've caused the damage. You don't feel it, but damage is happening. And she was experiencing damage, right? But what she realized with now, she doesn't feel weight. And I say it's because you're healed. When your follicles are back healed and recovering or recovered from trauma, and trauma, you know, we come across microaggressive individuals. You know, they say something and it digs, but it's like they say it with a smile. There are people like that who interlock your hair like that, like microaggressive, and you don't realize. But once you have healed, and now the knots have allowed her to just be chilled and her scalp to be chilled, her hair can grow as long as it wants to grow, it can grow, and she's not tempted to cut it because there is no weight. She's like, the only weight is when I wash it, right? And that's when I feel the weight, and it's not even negative, it's not even worrying. And part of the feeling of the weightiness is the worry that, oh, if it feels weighty, I feel like it's going to pull, or none of that's happening. Your hair can carry a lot more. You can carry a lot more than you realize. Your hair can carry a lot more in the space of just healing and allowing it to be what it's meant to be and not rushing and going in there and correcting. Your hair can hold so much. And so it's metaphorical for us. Like, I do so much more from a place of love and comfort. If I'm tense, then I'm not as creative. My content will struggle. My relationship with my clients will struggle. But because I'm like, let it go, let it be what it has to be, I'm cool and I'm fine with that, and I'm able to be more creative. And that's what I hope for you guys for 2025, more creative work, more resourceful work, more productive work, whatever that looks like to you. I pray that you get it. I'm planning in January to come back and share live updates with what I'm up to, what I'm thinking of doing, and I want to be very transparent. So I want to come talk you through what I'm doing, explain what I'm doing, day by day by day by day, my little tasks. I'm planning to do that, but I hope I've done enough for you to understand the concepts behind Knotted Locs, and I wish you guys the happiest New Year. Happy New Year! Bye, my loves! You're welcome! It's a pleasure sharing my knowledge and my experience. Mwah, 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 mwah.